So how can you quickly create a blog for affiliate marketing? Well, pay close attention because I'm about to show you step by step exactly how to do that. Let's get into it. All right, so what you're looking at right here is a blog post I created using the exact platform that I'm about to show you how to set up your blog on. So if you take a look right here, right, we got our menu set up. We got the title. We also have the date for the blog post, and that'll automatically populate. And then right here, we have our picture, which is very relevant to what we're talking about, since in that blog post, we're talking about the YouTube algorithm. And then as we go down, boom, we got our H1, we got our text under that, we got our H2, and this is pretty much the outline as you're doing a blog post, anywhere you're doing a blog post. And then as we go down, we got our H2 again, boom, we got our text, and then you can even see I embedded a video in there as well. And then down here, if somebody wants to come and make a comment, all they have to do is just come in here and say, hey, this is dope. Or, hey, this sucks. So whatever it is that they want to say, right? And then right here, if you want to tweet it out, or the person that's reading this wants to tweet it out, then you can actually go ahead and hit tweet, and boom, it's going to take them right over to Twitter if they're logged into their account, and they can actually share this with other people. Or of course, they can just take the link to this actual blog post and then share it that way. All right, so what I'm about to do now is I'm actually about to show you how you can set up your blog just like this. All right, so the platform we're gonna be using is called System.io. And if you see value in this system and being able to see how beneficial this could be for you, then definitely go ahead and use that first link down below in the description. That'll give you free access. And then if you wanna upgrade as you continue to get used to the system, you could definitely go ahead and do that. Now let's get into the step-by-step process. So here we go. So first thing we wanna do is we wanna come up here to this tab that says blogs. We wanna click on that. And then we're gonna click on this blue button that says create a blog. And then right here, this is where I name my blog. Like, what do I want my blog's name to be? Mine is going to be Rakeem Addison, right? It's going to be the Rakeem Addison blog. And then right here, blog domain, right? So you can either use the domain that System.io gives you, or you could use your own domain, which is highly recommended, all right? And if you don't have one, you can go to like GoDaddy, Namecheap, or any one of the domain providers and then roll with that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make it my domain. All right, so now it's RakeemAddison.com / and then I'm gonna just make this my blog link, right? So I'm gonna say blog 3, and then we're just gonna go ahead and choose a template. I'm gonna roll with this template right here, and they will be bringing in more templates, but at the time that I'm recording, these are the only 2 that they have. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit create. All right, so it's going and it's creating my blog. Boom, I got a blog created that quickly, all right? All right, so now what I wanna do is I wanna go ahead and click on the blog I just created, the Rakeem Addison blog, and then now you got either posts, pages, or categories, right? So all the categories is like you're grouping like the type of content that you're talking about, right? So if you're gonna be talking about video marketing, online tools, blogging, Instagram, like it's sectioning everything off. That's essentially what that is. All right, so what we want to go to before we go to any of that stuff is we want to go to the blog layout. So now this is where we get to edit our footers and our headers, all right? And then also how our blog posts will be structured. So the first thing I like to do, because I don't like to use other people's logos, and I'm sure you don't either. So what I want to do is I'll go in here and I'll just pretty much switch out this picture right here and put in, a logo that I just real quickly created, right? It's just my name. All right, and then I hit insert. Now what I want to do, because that's a little bit big, is I want to adjust the size on that logo, right? So we can see already we look like we putting together a blog post, and I ain't did no coding. I haven't did any of that stuff, right? So now the next thing I want to do is I don't see any point of like putting my name twice. So what I'll do down here is I'll just remove this section, but I won't remove the actual like row. All right, so boom. So now we got our name, which is our logo, and then we got these menus. So this is the next thing we want to adjust, right? So right now it says home, articles, contact, and about. But let's say, for instance, I don't want it to say articles. I want it to say blog. Boom, I just changed it that quickly, right? Now another thing we can do is we can adjust like the spacing on it, right? So the spacing between them, let's say I want those to be closer, then I can do that. Now if I want those to be spread out, I can actually adjust it just like that, right? So you can play around with with this to your liking. And then, you know, whatever you want within this space for like your blog content, you can do. But me personally, I'm not going to mess with anything in there. And then another thing you could do is down here, right? So I could change this and just have it just be like my company name and not system.io, right? So company name, and then I would probably put like we help with social media, right? Let's just put something like that for now. All right, so we help with social media. And then what you can do is you can actually link your actual social medias right here, right? So if you can go ahead and click on this, and then you can come over here and then put your actual Instagram link right in there. And then anytime somebody comes over and they click one of those links, it'll take them directly over to your social media, all right? So I'm gonna just go ahead and call it we good right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit save changes. So we just set up our blog layout. So now I'm about to show you how to set up your post layout. All right, so that was the blog layout. Now let's go to the post layout. Now this is where we get into how your blog post will actually look. So now what I'm gonna do, and I was gonna do this anyway, is I was gonna bring up my blog post title up at the top. Now another thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in the blog post date just like this, right? So I'm gonna put it right under the title. And then boom. So right now we can't really see it, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it to the middle. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna hit the middle. All right, boom. So now it's in the middle along with my title. So now what I wanna do is I might wanna make my title a little bit bigger as far as like appearance when somebody comes on my blog post. So what I'll do is I'll adjust the font size a little bit. All right, that's quite big, right? So I'm gonna go with this and we're just gonna let that roll. All right, so now we got our blog post title, we got our blog post date, which pretty much auto populates within that spot. And then we got our blog post content, how we want it, pretty much in the middle. And then down here at the bottom, we can add additional things if we really want to, such as, let me show you Facebook comments. So let's say, for instance, I want Facebook comments to be on every blog post. Well, now I'm setting that up from the jump, right? So now when I go ahead and I save that and I back out of here, now when I go to set up my blog post, like over here where it says create a blog post, I can go ahead and set it up from scratch, or I could just use the blog post template that they give you by default. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the blog post template, but I'm gonna adjust it. Like matter of fact, let's just go ahead and show you from scratch so you know exactly what to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete the blog post template. All right, so it's deleted, so we start from scratch. So I hit create a blog post, and then now this is where I name my blog post. Now, you know, to not spend too much time, I went ahead and I did my research before I got on here so I can have some of this stuff ready for you. So now I'm gonna go over here to my pad, and this is gonna be the name of my the title for my blog post right here. All right, so boom, that's my title. And then the short description, this is going to be what we call a meta description in SEO. I won't get too technical on you, but a meta description is just simply what people are going to see. Well, sometimes, because Google shows different things, but sometimes they'll see this exact meta description. That's going to be the thing that wants to make them, that actually makes them click, all right? All right, so now let's go back over here. Let's grab the meta description that we created for that keyword. And then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our short description right there. And then now you can see they created the URL path. So the URL path is Rakeem Addison blog 3, and then how to get Instagram reel views guaranteed to make you blase, 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 right? Now, obviously, we don't want that, right? We just want it to be the keyword. Let's take that off for now. We'll worry about that later. All right, so now check it out. So now it's how to get Instagram reel views, because that's the keyword that we want to rank for, right? All right, and then you can also add an image, but I'm not gonna add the image just yet. I'll do that as we continue to go throughout the rest of this tutorial. All right, so boom. And then I can also add a category, but I haven't created a category yet. So we just gonna go ahead and hit create. All right, so now check it out. Boom, it just created the blog post. So now what I wanna do is I wanna come over here and I wanna hit the edit button. Now this is where I actually start to edit my blog post. So you remember, we set up our blog layout and we set up our post layout. So you can see it's set up exactly how we want it right from the jump. So we're saving a lot more time. So now, as you can see, how to get Instagram reel views, that's my title. Boom, there's my date. I probably would make that a little bit bigger so it stands out. And then now what I want to do is I want to start adding my H1s and my H2s, right? So what I'll do is I'll go over here to where it says headline text. And then I'll put this in, oh no, before that, let me actually put my photo, because you want to make sure you have a photo so that your blog post stands out and it brings some light to it, all right? So now I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna add an image, right? Boom, there we go right there. And then I'm gonna add something that look, Instagrammy. I know that ain't really a word, but we're gonna roll with it. All right, so there we go right there. Boom, we got our photo added and it's already starting to look like the blog post that I showed you in the beginning of the video. So let me make this a little bit bigger. The image size. All right, that should be pretty good right there. All right, so now let's go down and now we're gonna start adding our H2s. All right, so boom, we come in there like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that, hit the bold, and then I'm gonna make this an H2. Boom, just that simple. And then now what we do is we wanna go ahead and left justify that. All right, there we go. And then now we take some regular text, right? Now I want this text to be sort of close, so I'm gonna put it about right there. That should be good. And then what I'll do for this is I'll also left justify it. And then now we got our H2 and we got our text right under it. Seem a little bit close, but I'm gonna have to adjust it a little bit to kind of make it look well, but we got it there, right? All right, and then now we do the same thing. We go ahead and we add another H2. Boom. So now we do the same thing. Go ahead and do B for bold. And then I'll go ahead and make this the H2. And then I'll go ahead and left justify this as well. So you can see this process is very, very simple. I'm not having to deal with any code or any of that stuff, right? Very, very simple for me to set up, right? So let me go ahead and add, matter of fact, I'll just make a copy of this. All right, so boom, so there we go right there. And hopefully it didn't grab both of them. Hopefully we just grab one. Okay, so let's make this a little bit closer. All right, there we go. Just that simple. It's looking exactly like the other post. So now at the bottom, you see I already got these right here for like Facebook comments. So like when people come here, they can actually, give feedback on what they thought about the post and so on and so on. So let me actually remove this because I don't really need this to be here. All right, boom. And then something else that I can add is I can actually add like a Twitter share button, right? So if I come over here and I go just like this, boom. It didn't pop in there. Let me do it one more time. All right, so there we go right there. So I just put my tweet button in so they can actually hit the share button if they actually want, if they're getting value from what they're seeing here or reading or whatever, or if I decide to put a video in there, right? So let's say I'll go ahead and I put a video after this second text. So let's say, boom, I dropped the video right there. And boom, we literally got a video in here. Notice I'm not using any code or anything. It's literally just drag and drop and my blog is coming together just like the one I showed you earlier. All right, so now let's say that this is my blog and I'm done. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save changes and then I'm gonna back out of it because I wanna show you what it looks like along with the Facebook comments. So if I come here and I hit view, boom, here's my post, Rakeem Addison. There's all the links. And then there's my title, there's the date, there's the picture. Now that picture looks a little bit stressed out, a little bit too much. So, you might want to adjust, with the size and all that stuff. But look, boom, there's our H2 with the text. There's our H2 again with the text. There's our video. Now, of course, you can adjust this to bring this a little bit closer, but that's cool just for sake of this video. And then boom, if somebody wants to share, boom, they hit the tweet button and then they can come over here and just, leave a comment for whatever it is that they want, right? All right, so now I'm about to show you how to add the metadata information, which is very, very important, all right? So let me go ahead and click off this page right here and we're gonna go right back over here, all right? So now we're gonna go back into the edit to edit our blog post and I'm gonna go ahead and click here. And then now what we need to do is over here at the top, we wanna go ahead and click on settings. So now what we wanna do is we wanna scroll down to where it says search engine optimization SEO. So now we're gonna go right back over here and we're gonna put that same information that we had from over here, all right? So come over here, we're gonna grab the keyword that we're trying to rank for, and then in the meta description, we're gonna put this information right here. All right, so boom, we're gonna copy this. And the key to the meta description is look at the framework that I'm using, right? So this is a complete guide on how to get Instagram Reel views. It includes my keyword, and then learn how to go viral on Instagram with this in-depth post. So that could possibly show up when people are searching. They're like, man, okay, I want to do that, right? That's essentially what this is for. All right, so now when we come back over here, the next thing we need to grab is our keywords that we want to rank for. Now, I did the research prior to me actually creating this content, and these are actual keywords that I use, and I found them over on Ahrefs, that Ahrefs keyword tool. So these are actual keywords. And then now if I come right here, there's the keywords. And then I'm the author of this this blog post. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my name, and you're the author for yours. And then I'm not gonna use a social image, but all that is like when you're sharing it on like social platforms, it'll be the picture that actually shows up when you do it. All right, so that's how that whole thing works. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit save changes. And then boom, we actually went ahead and we created our blog post. Let's see how it looks. And the most important thing, like I said, is just the metadata as well, right? Boom, there's our blog post. And almost one more thing, I almost forgot this, right? Before you hold up real quick. Another thing is making sure it's not being hidden from the search engines. So right here it says hide from search engines, and it's checked. We will want to click that to uncheck it and then hit save changes. But for sake of this video, I'm not actually about to do that, all right? So that's how you create your own blog using System.io. If you got value from this video, definitely give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet got access to System.io and you see the value in it, definitely go ahead and use that first link down below in the description box, which will get you free access. And if you want to upgrade later, you could definitely do that. With that being said, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Peace.